Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and for some reason our cameras are off.
I
Er,
didn't know if they were supposed to be on. I can turn mine on. Okay.
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you.
I was like, is this record only? Whatever. But yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
That
don't apologize. You're good.
technology and me get along only if it's a PlayStation.
Oh, I understand that. Technology and me don't get along at all. So,
uh, so my name is Josh. Welcome to NC-17. Today we have Maddie Daring, who is a fantastic director of this movie right here,
oh,
Bathtub
yeah.
Shark Attack.
Thank you.
But you have other movies that you've directed, produced, and acted, and we'll go over a few of them. But kind of take us back as a child, and was this something that you wanted to do, or was it something that just kind of happened, or like was it life's goal for you?
It's been life's goal for a while. I mean, when I was really little, I wanted to like be a toy maker and whatnot. That was like the first thing I remember wanting to be. But I started really getting into movies. My parents would take us to the video store, Video World, in upstate New York, every week, and I was getting super into horror movies and stuff. Started getting into horror movies when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. Parents bought it for me for Easter, which is funny. On VHS, but I had seen it on cable and stuff. So the first movie I saw that made me realize, like, oh, I just want to do this was Killer Nerd, if you're familiar with that one.
Yep.
One of my rented it for a birthday party. It's shot on video. It's like, it's so much fun. Toby Radloff was in my first movie, so which is awesome. Um, and I was with my friends and we are like, we could do this. So, we started doing little stupid video projects and whatnot, and that's when I kind of knew, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That and a Toxic Avenger were like huge inspirations for wanting to do film because, you know, low budget stuff. You run them from the video store. You're like, hey, I love my friends and I went out and made a movie, and that's the fun stuff.
All right. Toxic Avenger. Let's talk about that for a second. What are your thoughts on the remake?
I'm very excited for it, honestly. I think the look and everything of Toxie and everything looks fine. It's different. It's whatever. It's got a great cast. It's gotten good reaction so far. I'm really excited for it. We're probably never gonna get a Toxic Twins, Toxic Avenger 5. So any new Toxic comic, content, give it to me. I'm ready. What
All
about you?
right.
What are your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of Peter Dinklage, so anything
Yeah,
he's in, I'm gonna like.
yeah.
But I'm actually excited for it because it's a refreshing new take on a familiar character, if that makes
That's how I
sense.
feel about it.
Yeah. Uh, so when you were getting into, like writing and directing and acting, which one did you see would be more of a passion for you out of the three, if not all three?
Not so much acting, but I've done more acting than I ever thought I would do. But I always liked writing and directing. Writing is my favorite part because I just have so many different ideas and stuff, and it's always fun to write new scripts and flesh out ideas and stuff like that. It's like the blueprint for the movie. So I also do like directing, but writing's definitely my favorite part.
All right. Has there been a specific, story you've written that kind of you would consider your favorite so far, or is it just like you hold them all in different regards?
I mean, my favorite is Alan, which is gonna be my next movie. That's like based on a short film I did in film school. Uh, it's a bit more serious than my other stuff. It's like kind of a dark comedy, but it's horror romance. So, um, that was one of my favorite stories I came up with. Probably my favorite, but I do enjoy all the ideas I come up with. I really think Bathtub Shark Attack is a really fun script, and it was actually like when I wrote it, I had written a treatment for something else that I was gonna do, but I just kind of turned everything into bathtub, and I think it turned out really cool. Like I like, some of the aspects and stuff was like stuff from previous projects that I just kind of made work into this. It was kind of yeah. some of ideas from Spirit Animal and stuff. I think I have my own like kind of style with ideas that kind of are similar, like our own universe, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Uh, so when you're writing these characters and these stories and they're starting to come together, do you start to envision certain individuals playing roles, or are you just open to whoever comes in and gives you the best performance?
That's like definitely like I'm not gonna say split in the middle, but I definitely can picture certain people playing certain roles. Like I'll write certain roles for certain people, and then I'll always have roles where I just have no idea. So it's definitely in the middle. And I always love working with new people and some of the same people that I've worked with before. So, I'll always have an idea. Oh, I know who can play this, but have no idea who could play some of the other roles.
Oh yeah. So take us to your first script and back to when you kind of started coming up with it, and like when you started getting it turned into film, like from paper to film and everything, or hard drive to film, however you did it.
Yeah.
uh, and just kind of take us through your first initial thoughts of, wow, am I really doing this, or wow, this is really happening?
Oh, yeah. So I'll just go to when I moved into a new apartment with a roommate, and I wrote Bathtub Shark Attack, and it was like a short film at the time. So it was like 25 pages or so. And I had some people to help me out with that, and we were going to do it, and it never happened. So I shelved that, and then I wrote Spirit Animal. I was like, I just want to do a slasher movie in the woods. Because woods are easy, obviously. You can find them wherever, just whatever. And has hopefully people don't know you're there and won't bother you. So I wrote that, and it was only like a 60-page script. But I remember our first like time we were gonna do a script sit down reading. One person showed up, everyone else, and I was like, just gonna keep trying. So our first day of shooting, it was interesting because one person had to leave early and whatever, and it was just like we were just friends hanging out making a movie. But regardless, like seeing it come together, we were on weekends. This was a big part of our life from we started in 2019, March 6th, 2019, or no, March 2nd, March 6th, I believe. Um, yeah, that was our first day, and you know, right then, just kind of seeing the characters come to life, and since it was my first movie, I did write the roles for a lot of people that I already knew. Um, and putting it together in the editing, I have an amazing editor, collaborator, Joe Ruscio, very talented person, most talented I know, and you know, he was editing it, putting it together. We were kind of editing it together, and seeing the characters come to life was a really, feeling that's hard to describe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
so so let's talk
story.
about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, just seeing the story come together, and we added stuff to for different reasons. It was hard to get everyone together at the same time.
All
Yeah.
right. So with Spirit Animal, you say you wanted to make a slasher, but this was a different kind of fresher take on it because of just how the slasher was going around doing things. I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but I mean, Spirit Animal literally, the name of the title of the movie literally speaks what you have to do.
Yeah.
And the way some characters kind of started figuring things out, some a little bit too late, some just right at the right time, and then I mean, the ending of that movie had such a like an 80s vibe, if that makes sense for
Yeah.
slashers.
Oh yeah.
And just the way things kind of went all the way until those credits started rolling, I was like, what? Okay, I get it. I like it. you
Thank
know,
you.
so with that, the ending of that movie, how dynamic was from script to film to final product? How dynamic was that transaction?
Oh, that ending wasn't even in the script. Joe came up with that. He was like, "Oh, what if we did this?" After she survives and everything. I was like that, and that's my favorite scene in the whole movie. Actually, the ending. So because I'm not trying to give spoilers either, but yeah, it was never in the original script. Neither was the tree or anything. But since the seasons were changing, we added a lot of stuff. So that was one of the things he thought to add, and it was such a fun idea. Um, and got the main actress is Jennifer Louise, her dog in the movie too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of something funny he came up with. That and the whole psychiatrist thing, yeah, I think came in later too. The original script from the movie is just so different because again, it was only like 60 pages, and we added Toby Radloff like as the tree and everything, um, and stuff like that, and because seasons were changing, we had to come up with something.
Okay.
And it made the movie better. So
Nah. Uh, so I'm going to compare the ending of that movie to another movie that came out years later. But
okay,
to me, and some people don't get it. Like I was talking to my wife, and she didn't get it. But that movie Glass, at the end of Glass, the three personalities.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it kind of you kind of broke that mode with Spirit Animal, but only they kind of put it in different characters. And the way you did it was, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, I love Glass, but in my opinion, the way that the characters were portrayed in your movie just kind of seemed a little bit more organic, if that makes sense.
oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So
I never
that,
really thought of that, but the whole makes sense.
all right, but that's just my takeaway from it. So, uh, but believe it or not, like some of the other movies you've made, I have had in my collection. I like Bathtub Shark Attack. I literally had that in my collection, and I'm like, oh, who directed this? So then I look and I'm like, wait a minute, she's on the friends I might know people. I was like, okay, I
Yeah,
gotta talk. Uh, let's talk about Bathtub Shark Attack.
yeah.
What was your first thought for that film? Because you said it was a short at first. So how did you come up with the concept for that?
I wish I could tell you. We just had a bathtub in this new place. I was wanting to make a movie. I wanted to make a shark movie. I was, obviously always super obsessed with sharks. But, at that time, Sharknado and everything was huge. And it was actually before the big, like, real boom of, Mark Polonia shark movies and, Donald Farmer shark movies. All this stuff started. Like, it was not too long before that. That shark movies really took off. But I just thought, what could, where would could the sharks be, whatever? And it was like a bathtub, because I think that's a lot of people's kids' irrational childhood fears. And I was kind of surprised that hadn't been done yet.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of came together. And then I don't know how I came up with it. So I won't give too spoilers, but how a lot of the crazy stuff that happens. Obviously, yeah. I always also like movies about cults and stuff. Um,
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
big fan of Wicker Man, and I was just watching The Believers yesterday, and Midsummer, one of my favorites, of course. I guess I wrote that before I even saw Midsummer. So, but I kind of like the idea, like a shark worshipping cult. So I looked up, shark gods and kind of found some interest in that. Found Dakawaka and again, surprised no one ever, with all these shark movies, no one ever really tried it before.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, it all just kind of came together. And turning it into a feature was really fun. I just expanded a lot of characters and stuff that happened. I was really able to, very inspired by movies that take place in like one apartment building or one space. Like Troll, Rosemary's Baby was a big influence and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it all just kind of came together. It's kind of weird. It's weird to think where I come up with some of this stuff. Like, yeah, certain scenes where the shark comes out of and stuff. I'm just like, have you ever seen this happen? Or what if this happened? Texting Joe, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's hilarious. Because it would be boring if he was just in the tub. He's going to come out other spots, you
Yeah.
know.
Uh, you actually did work with Carly Sonnenfeld, who was on the show recently. What was it like working with not just her, but all the actors and just everyone on the crew, and just what was that whole experience like?
Oh, it was great. Like the first days we met up in this, and I want to mention like the building we shot in, like we had no set dressing, almost none, other than like the shark painting and stuff like that. We got really lucky with this just like building that some random guy on Facebook was like, "You need a location." I was like, "Just gonna film in my apartment building, whatever." And I saw pictures. I was like, "Holy shit!" So I like to think of the apartment as like a character in the movie. And that bar apartment, everything was in the same space. So uh I'm getting a little off track here, but my point was like when we first met in that space, just filming with Ben Deedles and Ruby Kraft. They had great chemistry on screen. They were so funny together. We like knocked through more than I could have imagined like the first day or two. Um and like even more than I had scheduled. So I was like, oh, we could film this, we could film that. So the whole cast and crew worked so well together. Lynn Lowry was amazing to work with. I love her. And it was a dream to work with her. But she's like one of the sweetest people and just professional and like just nailed the role in the movie. And Carly, I worked with her on Trash Removal, which was a short shout out video movie that I did for an anthology. Um, that was the first time I worked with her, so it was great to work with her again. She's always great. Uh, yeah, the whole cast was fantastic, and it was like mainly just a few like key characters, um, plus some of the wacky neighbors and stuff, which I enjoy. I enjoyed doing, but the whole cast was wonderful to work with. It was pretty much smooth sailing, all through. Everyone knew their lines and stuff. And again, it was great to see like everyone bringing these characters to life in front of my eyes. It's like it's hard to explain how cool that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Cody is one of the best. So
oh yeah.
always
So,
love working with.
all right. So, funny story on how I came up with this movie, how I got this movie. I was
I
at a
was gonna
convention.
ask.
I was at a convention here in Michigan called Motor City Nightmares. I'm walking around and you know, the guy who directed Hellvain.
Jorge,
Yep, Jorge
good
De La
buddy of mine.
Rosa. Oh yeah, him and Morgan Ziva were at a table, and Tom Sawyer, an author, they were at a table, and I have seen Hellvan, but they had this movie over there too, and I was like, okay, so I already have Hellvan. I need to get another movie because I'm always buying movies. You know,
Yeah.
so I was like, what do you suggest? And they're like, we had this stack of movies. I'll buy them all.
Oh hell yeah.
So I bought them all, and there's some that I can't show on here because I don't want to get banned. But but this was on a whim buy, and I can tell you right now, I thoroughly enjoyed this film.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You know, and I like it. It had the throwbacks of like just like the way films were made in the late 80s, early 90s, going into the mid 90s. And that was, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I was like, okay, I feel like I'm at home again.
Yeah.
But the movie was good. I liked the movie. Like I said, I've watched it a few times.
Oh,
But in filming this movie, or just in any movie in general, did you find that there were certain setbacks that kind of made things a little bit harder, or was everything just kind of smooth sailing for the most part?
this one was, I think, a bit smoother than Spirit Animal. Um, but still, it was a lot of scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. Again, our location was nice, so we had that down, and the fact that we could film pretty much everything in one location really helped. The only scenes that were filmed in a different location was at my apartment, and that's all the party stuff with the stoners and stuff like that. Everything else was at that place. So that made it a lot easier. I had no trouble getting extras and stuff. People showed up and did that. So yeah, I mean, it was mostly smooth sailing. We didn't have too many setbacks or anything. Everything was pretty smooth.
Uh,
Especially since, we paid for that location, so we need to get out, get in, get it done. Um, yeah. Uh, Spirit Animal had to reshoot things and whatever. It was a little more tough, but it was also just again friends hanging out on the weekends. This was still probably friends hanging out on the weekends, filming, but a little bit more, professional and such. And yeah, everyone did a great job, and you know, uh, Joe helps me keep things moving, and everything ran pretty smooth for the most part.
uh, uh, you've directed some other stuff. Natasha
Yeah,
90s.
that was
Yeah.
trash removal is a part of that.
Okay.
Um, with Carly in it. It's like
Yep.
about a trash monster that comes out, and it's another environmental horror, like
All right.
Spirit Animal. It's kind of like a theme I run with.
All right. Uh, and then last year, you were segment director for A Cheesy Christmas.
Yes, we did a Dingo Pizza commercial. Dingo Pizza is a big thing in our cinematic universe. It's also going to be an Alan. So yeah, we shot a commercial for him. Carly is also in that as well, and Keith Monahan, who plays the Dingo and also plays the Stoner and Spirit Animal and Bathtub. So that was a little fun thing we did in my apartment.
All right. Uh, so with directing the movies and acting in the movies, is there ever a moment where you're like, okay, it's time to kind of take a step back, unwind, and just decompress, or is it always whether you're writing, acting, or directing, is your engine still going constantly?
It depends. If I'm really deep in a project, it's hard for me to slow down. But I also work, two other jobs so I can get burned out. But usually when yeah, I'm into something, doing something, a project, whatever. It's easy to keep going, wanting to keep writing, whatever. Um, Again, I don't usually edit the movies. I can help out, whatnot, but that's the stuff that inspires me when I see things coming together. I'm like, okay, we got to keep moving, whatever. You know,
Uh,
yeah.
uh, are there any potential sequels for any of your movies?
We've always thought about it. I originally wanted Spirit Animal to be a trilogy, but I don't know. Um, Probably more likely of a bathtub sequel, if anything. But we'll
Yeah.
see. Who knows?
Uh, uh, is it safe to say that in some way, shape, or form, that spirit animal and bathtub exist in the same world?
Oh, for sure. And
Uh,
the funny thing also is that like Timmy is like my Kenny from South Park. He's gonna die in every movie.
that's good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to think they still do. They have a lot of the same references like Dingo Pizza and other stuff. It's the same like bartender, famous actor Tom Gross who opens each movie, and but I do have some of the same actors playing different characters in both movies. But I still like to think they exist in the same universe for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of like what Quentin Tarantino does. He's always got that either that pack of cigarettes or something
Yep.
that kind of goes in every single thing. So you guys got the Dingo commercial, which makes complete sense. So
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with that concept. It's just like become, and it's been in other people's movies too. Like I've had people ask me, "Can I reference Dingo Pete's in their movie?" It's always an honor, you know, or the
oh yeah,
commercial, whatever. So
yeah,
it's really cool to see it expanding. Like it's just something and that was from my original short film Alan I did in film school. Like that's where it came from. Obviously a Seinfeld reference because originally. So it's funny it's come so long. So yeah, I'm
Uh,
honored.
uh, so speaking of actors and just like other producers and directors and stuff, are there people out there that you haven't worked with yet that are like you have bucket list people you want to work with?
Oh, there's always gonna be. Um, uh, yeah, I don't. There's so many. Like I'm already honored I got to work with some of the people I've already gotten to work with. You know, and on the next movie, I'm gonna be working with Jessa Jupiter Flux. I'm gonna work with Jason Crow, Brandy Mason, Len Lowry, hopefully again, Carly Sonnefeld, and some other ones. So there's already some great people, but there's a lot of cool people on in DC, and I'd love to work with. Angel Bradford and Mel Heflin, and people like that. I'd love to work with all these people. You know, um, and I'm honored I got to work with Susanna Coptastasi. Hopefully, I say her name right. If you've seen Emasculator that Carly's in, I'm sure she talked about that. Like, she's one of my favorite indie directors. I was glad I got to work with her. Addison Benek, Psycho Ape, is a buddy of mine. We're going to work together hopefully in the future. And, there's so many people in the indie world and stuff. It's just, it's not even as many like the smaller or, you know, bigger name actors that I really want to work with. It's a lot of like the smaller people. So,
Oh, yeah. Uh,
yeah.
so with independent film, and I've said it in quite a few of my interviews, if not all of them, independent film to me is kind of like, again, I want to say it has gone to the A plus category while Hollywood has gone to the B plus category. Because Hollywood wants to dish out so many different variations of the same movie. I mean, how many different Marvel movies can we get? You know,
Yeah, I've never been into them at all.
it's just refreshing to see. Like I can go see Star Wars, or I can sit at home and watch Bathtub Shark Attack. I think I'm gonna sit at home
Yeah.
and watch Bathtub.
Thank you.
It's just I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the independent seems since COVID has lifted all of its restrictions, the independent film has literally just skyrocketed, and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
No. We're passionate about what we do, and we don't have studios telling us, "Oh, do this, do that." I mean, yeah, the indie scene's thriving. There's more and more content coming out, and more passionate filmmakers, and it's easier to have the equipment to make a movie now. You know,
Oh yeah,
and get it on Tubi or wherever.
yeah, yeah. It's in your opinion, what would be like the best way to if you could give advice to anybody trying to get into the industry, I guess is what I'm saying. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would just say get your friends together, like we did for Spirit Animal. Uh, come up with an idea, get some friends together on the weekends, and just start filming and have fun. Like that's what we did with Spirit Animal, and like somehow, it got seen. People got excited about it, and we shot it on video like a literal VHS camera. So another thing I'd say is it don't matter what you're shooting on, whether it's your cell phone, a camcorder, digital video, whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the passion and a fun story, a fun, if you're having fun on screen, people are gonna have fun watching it. It's usually what I say. Don't do it to try to make money right away or try to get rich. Like just have fun with it. That's what we've done, and people seem to enjoy what we did
Oh yeah.
so far. Um,
I mean, I enjoy your films, so if that's anything.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I'm very glad.
Yeah. You've also produced and you've produced a couple movies that I've seen. The one that really sticks out to me is Things 666. You've produced that.
Yeah.
What was it like stepping into the producing role for that movie?
I didn't really have much to do with it. I just donated some money, so I can't really say. But most of the producing I've done has been on some other projects where I really took the role. But yeah, I was more like a financial producer on that. But
Oh,
it
nothing
was
wrong
still,
with that.
yeah.
Uh, would you say that there was like a scene in any film that you've made? Was there a scene that super exceeded your expectations?
Oh, the ending of Bathtub Shark Attack. Not that I want to give anything away, but that scene when Joe added some of the extra shots to make that scene a little more disturbing. When I first saw it, I was like, holy shit. Then actually the party scene as well, when, everyone, I won't give too many spoilers, but everyone in a party dies. But a certain scene with Mousetrap is one of my favorite scenes in the bathtub, and I think it's hilarious.
Uh,
Uh yeah, there's some, again, seeing how they edit together is just, yeah. Both movies just from even directing them, it still exceeds my expectations because when you're there thinking everything looks great, whatever, but you see how it comes together in editing, and it's again an amazing experience to see it. So, but
uh,
those are just two I can think of. My death scene in Spirit Animal is always a lot of fun to watch, and yeah,
it was rad.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Would you say that there's a project you haven't done yet that you like a genre you haven't that you would like to do?
I'd love to do a romantic comedy or something, but also Alan is like a horror romance comedy, so if I did one more straightforward, I mean that would be kind of fun to do.
Uh,
Um, yeah. Or like a coming of age movie, something along those lines. I enjoy.
uh, when
Or
it
a
when
musical.
I mean, some music. My favorite episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is once more with Phil, so
That's the main one I remember actually. I don't watch that show, but I do remember that episode.
oh yeah, it's funny because most people who do horror don't expect that. I mean, me as a fan, I would never expect someone who directs horror to say, "I think I'm gonna do a musical." I'm like, you just did this, now you want to do Les Miserables? Okay, but it's refreshing because you guys can think outside of that, that kind of atmosphere of okay, we know we can do horror, let's
Yeah.
do this. So that's refreshing, and the fact that well, the fact that you said musicals, okay, I'll let the cat out the bag. One of my favorite movies and is a guilty pleasure is Rent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I thoroughly enjoy that movie. I think I've seen it way too many times, but I thoroughly enjoy seeing it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But now my wife on the other hand, she loves Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah. But so if you would direct a musical, what kind of musical would you want to direct? Something like
Well,
Rent or the other?
probably a horror musical. Well, actually, so I have an idea for a movie by Killer Disco Balls called Disco Death. Critters with disco balls. I mean, I think it sells itself.
Oh
So
yeah.
I would love to make that into a musical, or I actually wrote a musical in college. It didn't age too well, but I think I could still make it, change it up, but called Killing in the Rain, which is like a horror version of like, those like 50s, 60s musicals when it got really popular, like
Oh,
Singing in the Rain and whatnot,
oh yeah.
or 60s, I don't know, whatever year those all came out. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny to know that like people can be sitting next to you and they know okay, the next horror movie is coming out, but really it's something different, you
yeah,
know. And the fact that you guys can wear different hats, regardless if it's directing, producing, acting, whatever, the fact that you guys wear different hats on everything, I mean, that's respect to you guys 10 times over because there's a lot of people out there who are doing their shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and they ain't. they're
Yep.
getting they're still making $5 an hour. So
Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah,
just got to keep moving and keep creating and just, the hardest part is just getting everyone together and just starting it. And once you start, just keep going, you
oh
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So with where you are right now, with all with the films you've made and acted in and produced, would you say you're satisfied right now, or are you still hungry and biting at the bit to kind of just like, I need to keep doing this and kind of just like, I'm there, but I need to be there.
Yeah, I'm there, but I need to be a little bit more there. And it's
Yeah,
hard to work the day jobs and have the energy to do some of this stuff, but that's my passion, so I'm gonna keep moving. But
uh,
I can only do so much. But yeah, you always want to be a little bit ahead, and but all you can do is keep moving and doing the best you can.
all right,
Um, yeah, it's not a race, but I think whenever a next project comes together, whenever it's ready to go, that's when it's ready to go. But I never want to stop.
all right. So here's a question that I've asked a couple people, not a lot of people. So, 10 years from now, where would you like to see yourself 10 years from now?
I'd like to see myself probably only working one day job, hopefully, or none, and just, making films. I'd like to see myself with enough content that I could do more conventions and maybe able to pump a little more content out, make more projects, have a shorter time span of filming to putting them out, um, kind of perfect that process because Bathtub took a long time to get some of the stuff out um, on Blu-ray and such due to some complications. But I would like to be able to, you know, write, shoot, edit, distribute, quicker. Um, it'd be nice to be able to make a little bit more money off of this stuff and not just work on my stuff. Uh, Joe's got a project he wants, a couple projects he wants to do. I'd like to just expand a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe even
Uh,
release those movies and stuff. That would always be fun, but it's a
uh,
process.
yeah. So with so you got Alan coming out, you said, right?
Yeah, we'll be filming this later this year or early next year. It takes place in winter, so
Nah.
I need that look.
Uh, so since that was a story you wrote back in college and kind of got to where it is now and you're getting ready to film, is there a specific quota that you're kind of trying to meet of, this has to super exceed everything else I've done, or is this like your baby and this is what you want to be, like you hope this is the one that puts you in the atmosphere to where millions of people are like, damn, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's my baby, so I just want it to get out there and be seen by people, and hopefully people enjoy it. And you know, yeah,
Yeah,
I just want it to be the one that shows that also I can do more than just shot on video horror comedy. I hope that people will keep watching what we're doing and be like, okay, it's something a little different, but still go with us on it. I think it could have a little bit more appeal on other people than the other movies. Of course, I think Bathtub has a bit of appeal because it's a shark movie, but still,
no, yeah,
um, it's a bigger project. So, yeah, I want it to get out there more and hopefully get my name out there more. But
uh,
yeah,
uh, so with bathtub shark attack, I'm going to say, at least in my opinion, you've done a really good job with that film. I mean, you've done a good job with the films I have seen, but like shark movies resonate with me because I've seen Jaws and all these other
of course,
ones, But I do like the different take you took with it, and it kind of got me more hyped about other shark movies, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome.
and I can. actually honestly say I don't see any problem rewatching this movie because I've seen it a couple times already. So
No,
but
I'm honored. Yeah. We didn't want to make the same old shark movie because there's so many that come out and, you know, some are passionate and good and some are obviously thrown away, for a quick buck, but I love shark movies, obviously. And I always wanted to make one. And uh I'm really glad that it's something a little bit different. I don't think that's something that's really been done. I mean, it definitely has some similarities to like House Shark and stuff like that, but it's a very different movie.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, very happy with how it turned out. And like the shark puppet, no CGI or anything. The
oh
shark puppet was made by Marcus Cook. Um,
yeah.
Originally made for Sean Donahue's Toilet Shark, but that didn't happen, and he gave it or sold it to me. And it was just kind of meant to be. That's actually what really made me push to say, okay, well, we're gonna do this. Because we had a big ass shark with a, little extra baby shark.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Without to give it spoilers right away. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's awesome because when I was watching it the first time, I always watched movies at least two times. First time pure entertainment, second time see stuff I missed. But if you can keep me watching a movie a third, a fourth, and a fifth time, and those times are just for pure entertainment, you got something good, at least in my
Oh,
opinion. So,
thank you. I was hoping this movie had some rewatchability. I think hopefully they both do, but
uh,
yeah.
Spirit Animal, although kind of familiar, completely different beasts. In as a fan watching them because you do got this one over here, which is straight up a slasher. Then you got this one, but trust me, I've seen them both multiple times, so you've done good. Well, at least in my opinion, I like them. So but no, it's been a long time since I've seen a newer version of a shark movie. And when I saw this, I was like, I'm sold. So
Thank you. And that opening scene, I think it's just everyone's nightmare after watching Jaws when they're a kid.
yes, yeah. But this so we're kind of nearing the end here. But correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of detected because of the couple, because of like all the characters, I kind of detected more of a yeah, it was a shark movie, but it was also more of a finding yourself kind of movie.
Yeah, that's one of the main themes.
Yeah. And
So I'm glad
and
you picked up on that.
oh yeah, I mean it came across really well in that department for the fact that, you know, I'm instantly thinking, okay, shark, everyone's gonna get eaten up. But no, it was like in a way, the shark story part of this kind of took a backseat to the characterization, you
Yeah,
know, and
I
and
wanted it to really be about Cindy figuring out who she was and stuff, and obviously with a shark. You know, when you kind of feel trapped and you don't know what to do, and yeah,
yeah,
figure out a way out and such.
oh yeah. Well, in that aspect, you have definitely succeeded with this film. And like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and I'm probably going to watch it at least two or three more times before the end of this month. So,
That's it. Oh shit! Okay, that's amazing. Thank you.
yeah, I actually got some friends coming over on Sunday, and it's one of the movies. That's why, because normally it's over there in a corner with like all my shark movies and everything. But I got to pull out because we're going to be watching it this Sunday. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. But I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to plug your socials where people can see or buy your movies or reach out to you or not reach out to you. That's entirely up to you. And yeah, so the floor is yours.
Well, first, I just want to say Bill Thummer, probably my favorite character I've ever written next to Timmy. The plumber. I just wanted to give a shout out to Tim Gross. Um, they actually run a convention called Gross Fest in Pittsburgh. I don't know where you're from, but I highly recommend August 1st and 2nd. I'll be there with a table. It's run by Tim Gross. who plays Bill Thummer, and famous actor Tom Gross, who's the bartender. Uh, Without those two people, I don't know if I'd even be making movies because their first Gross Fest was really what helped me get out there and try to start making stuff again. Um, and that's around the time when I wrote the original short film. So, um, but yeah, spirit animal. I'll always have at conventions and stuff. I have some bathtubs, but that's gonna have distribution in the future, so I can only sell so much. Um, but you can find me on Facebook. Madeline Deering. My Instagram, I think, is about the same. I'm not on there much. You can also like Necro Shark Films, Bathtub Shark Attack, and Spirit Animal on Facebook, and also Alan has a Facebook page, but I'm not as good as keeping up on those as I am my own page. It's kind of annoying to keep up on those pages. That's just Facebook's weird setup. But yeah, so yeah, if you want to find me, you can find me on there. Send me a message. I always have copies and such available. Yeah.
Well, Maddie, it has been a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you. And you are more than welcome to come back on the show anytime. I tell every single one of my guests that once you've been on NC-17, you have it home with us. You can come on to plug a movie, plug your socials, your music, or even if it's just to say, Josh, you have a booger in your nose. Yeah, I clean it out every day though. So,
Then
you know,
you're good.
oh yeah. But no, you've been a true all star, and I thank you for coming on. And like I said, you're more than welcome here anytime.
Thank you so much. Thanks you for again for having me.
All right, no
Appreciate
problem. And when you go to take a bath, make sure you look because there just might be a shark in your waters.
it. Yep.
All right, everybody. Until then, stay NC-17.